Okay, let's get started. Have you ever felt like your piece was just completely hijacked by what someone else did or didn't do?
Yeah, like a single comment, or maybe just getting the silent treatment and suddenly your whole day feels off balance.
Exactly. It feels like our insides are being controlled by the outside. And that's what we're diving into today. Really deep, how our reactions, shape our whole lives.
Mm.
And this isn't just about positive thinking stuff. It's deeper, about real strength, about the difference between a life that feels peaceful and one that feels, well, painful. It often just comes down to choosing to respond instead of just reacting.
It's fascinating, isn't it? How much of our day-to-day experience isn't really about what happens, but our immediate, almost unconscious gut reaction to it.
Right.
So this deep dive is all about turning that impulse, that knee-jerk reaction, into something intentional, real power, helping you, the listener, get back in control of your own mind, your own peace.
And we're drawing these insights from a really compelling source that digs into practical ways to master your emotions.
Yeah, building that sort of untouchable inner calm. And it's not about pretending you don't feel things, not at all. It's about mastering how you engage with those feelings. That changes everything, your whole relationship with the world.
Okay, so let's unpack this first big idea.
Mm-hmm.
Reacting means they control you. It feels strong sometimes, right? To just fire back instantly.
Sure, it can feel like strength in the moment.
But the source flips that. It says those quick emotional reactions actually make you really easy to manipulate, like super easy.
Mm-hmm.
When someone's insult or maybe just their opinion or even their silence dictates your mood, well, you're not driving anymore.
You're basically a puppet.
Exactly, like a puppet. And your emotions are the strings they're pulling. Every time you react without thinking, you're just giving away your peace, your energy, your power. It's gone.
That puppet image is so stark. And think about that young guy in the office example from the source. Super dedicated, right? Always working late.
Yeah, the hardworking one.
Until that one meeting, manager criticizes him unfairly and boom, he just explodes. Shouting, arguing.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. The whole room just was silent.
And the result, he wasn't the hardworking guy anymore. Overnight, he became the emotional guy. His reputation, years of work, damaged by one reaction, he let someone else dictate his response.
So what's the fix? The source offered something really practical.
It did. It's deceptively simple.
Yeah.
The 5-second rule. Someone disrespects you, lies, yells, whatever it is, just pause.
Don't speak. Don't move.
For 5 seconds. Just breathe in, breathe out. That tiny pause, that's you taking back control. It creates this crucial little gap between the trigger and your reaction.
And that space is where the choice happens.
Exactly. Choice lives in that space. Your brain gets a chance to catch up, to think strategically instead of just emotionally firing off. Your words, if you even need them, come out stronger, wiser, not just heat.
That simple habit.
Mm-hmm.
That could change everything, couldn't it? Relationships, work, conflicts.
Everything. Because when you don't just react, you're not weak. You're actually powerful, untouchable even, free.
From puppet to master. That's a huge shift. And it leads right into the next point, which is the hidden cost. Most reactions, they become regrets.
Oh, definitely. Think about it. How many times have you wished you could just snatch words back out of the air?
All the time. Ruined moments, damaged relationships, lost days.
Yeah.
All because of a reaction you wish you could undo.
And it's usually not the original thing someone said or did that haunts you years later. It's how you reacted. It's the breakdown you had.
Right. We carry our reaction, not their action. People think reacting fast means you're being real or honest.
Yeah, that keeping it real idea.
But the source argues it's often coming from a place of pain, or just survival instinct, not growth, not strength.
We lash out when we feel small, right? Blame when we feel weak, fight when we feel hurt. But after the dust settles.
Guilt, shame, regret, words stick. Actions have consequences people remember.
So the big question is, how do you actually make that shift? From just reacting on instinct to responding intentionally.
What's the key?
It starts with internalizing this one sentence. Okay, this emotion is real, I feel it, but this reaction, that's a choice.
Separating the feeling from the action.
Precisely. You acknowledge the feeling, anger, sadness, fear, whatever it is, but you don't let it automatically dictate your next move. Remember that story about the woman and her younger sister?
The really close sisters, yeah.
Incredibly close. Then, at a family thing, the sister makes some sarcastic comment, hits an old wound.
And the woman just lost it.
Completely. Said horrible things, untrue things, just fueled by that old pain. And their relationship shattered, never the same. Years later, she'd cry looking at photos, not because of the comment, but because of her own reaction. A lifetime of regret from one moment.
So how do we train ourselves not to do that?
It's practice, a discipline.
Wow.
First, pause. Literally close your mouth, still your body, let the emotion rise up inside you, but just feel it in silence.
Don't act on it immediately.
Right. Then ask yourself that critical question. Is this reaction really about this moment? Or is it about something old, something from my past?
Digging deeper. Is it the current situation or an old trigger?
Exactly. Then wait. Give it 10 minutes, an hour, maybe even a day if you need to. Then respond. Calmly, powerfully, with truth.
That one habit could literally save relationships. Save your peace.
Absolutely. Reacting feels strong for a second, but peace. Peace lasts. And peace never leaves you with regret.
That's powerful, and it flows so well into the next idea, which feels almost backwards at first. Silence is a superpower.
Right. We usually associate strength with noise, with being loud, having the last word.
Yeah, arguing, proving your point, explaining yourself constantly. But the source says, nope, the strongest people, often the quiet ones, they don't need to make noise.
Silence gets such a bad rap. People think it's weakness, like you're scared or don't have a comeback.
Afraid to argue.
But it actually takes more strength to stay calm when you want to scream. More wisdom to just walk away than get dragged into a pointless fight. More power to say nothing when every fiber of your being wants to lash out.
So silence isn't empty. It's control, focus.
Dignity, even. When you're silent, people don't know what you're thinking. They can't predict your next move. And that uncertainty, that mystery, that's a form of power.
It really disarms people, doesn't it?
Completely disarms them. Because often people want a reaction. They're trying to provoke you. When you don't give it to them, you deny them that satisfaction. They're just left standing there with their own words, their own negativity.
Like that guy who got attacked online by an old friend. The character assassination thing.
Yeah, brutal stuff. And everyone expected him to jump in, defend himself, fight back online.
But he didn't. He just stayed silent.
And people called him weak, a coward. But he held his ground. Quietly. Then months later, the truth comes out from someone else entirely. The friend was exposed.
And suddenly his silence looked like,
Right.
What dignity?
Exactly. Dignity, class,
Yeah.
strength. He won without saying a word while everyone else was just making noise.
So the advice is, use silence like a weapon, not see it as a weakness.
Precisely. You don't owe everyone a response. You don't need to correct every misunderstanding, especially with people who are determined not to understand you.
So what does that look like practically?
In a conflict, maybe just say calmly, okay, I understand, and then walk away. Don't fuel the fire in drama. Step back.
Yeah.
Let the truth reveal itself without adding to the chaos. If someone's being disrespectful,
Don't shout back.
maybe just look them calmly in the eye and say nothing. Let the silence hang there. It's incredibly powerful. People notice. You win not by lowering yourself to their level, but by rising above it.
Rising above.
Yeah.
That connects to the next point, which is huge.
Yeah.
Not everything deserves your energy.
Oh, this is crucial. We make this mistake all the time, right? Trying to fight every single battle, defend every little comment, correct every critic, reply to every negative message.
It feels like you should, like it's brave or something.
It seems brave, but the source says it's actually a path to self-destruction. You just drain yourself, your peace, your focus, your energy gone.
Because energy is finite. You only have so much each day.
Exactly. And if you keep pouring it into the wrong people, the wrong arguments, the wrong things, what's left for what actually matters? Your goals, your family, your own well-being.
You give energy to gossip, you lose energy for ambition. Give it to hate, lose it for love. Makes sense.
And sometimes people want your reaction, not because they care about the issue, but because seeing you upset, triggered, broken, it feeds their ego. They thrive on drama.
So engaging is just playing their game.
You got it. If you keep stepping into their drama-filled world, you'll never have the energy to build your own peaceful one.
So this is really about resource management, but the resource is you, your inner self.
Perfectly put. Strategic allocation of your most precious resource. Remember the college student example. Super bright, focused, disciplined.
Yeah, then the gossip started. Lies spread about her.
And she got sucked in, angry, writing long rebuttals online, losing sleep. Weeks went by. Her studies suffered. She became bitter. She poured all her energy into fighting things that ultimately didn't matter.
And years later, she realized her mistake.
Heartbreakingly so. She said, "I didn't lose because of what they said. I lost because I wasted my energy trying to fix what didn't matter."
Wow. So the solution is fierce protection of your energy, like it's gold.
Treat it like gold. Create a mental filter every morning. What truly deserves my energy today? If something isn't on that list, learn to walk away.
Don't fight the small stuff.
You're here to win your life, not every pointless argument. Stop explaining yourself to people who are committed to misunderstanding you anyway. Their minds are already made up.
So only engage where there's potential for growth.
If the conversation isn't going to lift you, help you learn, or solve a real problem, it's probably a trap designed to drain you. Walking away isn't weakness, it's wisdom. You don't have to RSVP to every fight you're invited to.
Peace is found in the battles you don't fight. I like that.
It's about choosing wisely.
Which leads us nicely to the next lesson. The one who stays calm wins. This feels intuitively true, right?
Absolutely. Think about who the world relies on when things get tough, when everything's falling apart. It's the calm ones.
People trust them more. They make better decisions under pressure. They often become leaders.
While most people are like storms, reacting, panicking, losing control, wondering why things aren't working.
The calm person is the opposite, like the eye of the storm.
Or the stillness that actually quiets the storm. But it's important to clarify, calmness doesn't mean you're numb or don't feel pain.
Right. It's not about not feeling.
It's about holding that pain, that difficulty, with strength, with composure, not with panic.
And this calmness, it's not something you're just born with, is it?
Not usually. The source frames it as a discipline, something you cultivate, like a warrior training for battle. It takes practice.
Like the story of the old man on the train. That was amazing.
So vivid. Crowded train, then this angry drunk guy comes barging in, shouting, pushing. Everyone tenses up.
Understandably.
But the old man just sits there, still, calm, unshaken. The angry guy eventually confronts him, spoiling for a fight.
And the old man just looks him in the eyes.
And says something simple, empathetic. "Whatever happened to you today, I'm sorry it brought you this far."
Wow. What happened then?
The angry guy just deflated, stopped. His fists dropped. He actually sat down and cried. The whole train car felt it, the shift in energy. Because one calm person refused to meet anger with anger.
He knew it wasn't about him.
That's the core of it. Calm people understand. Not every storm outside needs to become a storm inside.
So how do we build that discipline? What are the practical steps?
Breath is key. Deep, conscious breathing, often. It's like a weapon against panic. When your body is calm, your mind follows. Second, observe before you speak or act. Watch the situation unfold a bit. Don't just jump in.
Get the lay of the land first.
Right. Third, try to detach emotionally before acting. Ask yourself, am I about to act from a place of truth and clarity or just from pain and reaction? If it's pain, Wait.
And the final step.
Practice in the small things. Daily life gives us constant training opportunities.
Wow.
Spilled coffee, delayed train, traffic jam. See these as chances to practice staying calm.
Like mini boot camps for emotional resilience.
Exactly. Anyone can panic, but the person who can sit in the fire, metaphorically speaking, and still see clearly, speak gently, move wisely, that person wins. Life tends to follow the calm mind, not the chaotic one.
That's a vital distinction. Which brings us to reaction being a habit while response is power. This one really made me think.
It's subtle but profound. We often react not because we're consciously choosing to be angry or upset, but because it's become an automatic, ingrained habit.
Like muscle memory. You don't even question it anymore.
Right. Someone cuts you off, you honk and curse. Someone ignores you, you feel hurt instantly. It's automatic. You don't pause to ask, wait, does this situation actually require this level of reaction from me?
You just do it.
Yeah.
But the source draws a sharp line here.
The very sharp line. Reaction is fast, emotional, usually uncontrolled. It often comes from a wounded place inside us. Response, on the other hand, is slower, calmer, clearer, conscious. It comes from a place of power.
The volcano versus the ocean analogy.
Exactly. The reactor is the volcano, loud, messy, destructive. The responder is the ocean, deep, steady, powerful, untouchable. So the question for you, the listener, is, are you operating like a machine on autopilot, just reacting? Or like a master, choosing your response?
And the source digs into why we react like that. It's often not even about the present moment.
It's often about our unaware wounds, things from the past that we haven't healed.
Can you unpack that a bit?
Sure. If, say, you felt constantly ignored or dismissed as a child, your nervous system might be wired to perceive even minor slights today as major threats, so you overreact.
The past bleeding into the present.
Precisely. If you were humiliated badly once, any hint of disrespect now might trigger a disproportionate defensive reaction. It's not really about the person in front of you now, it's about that old, unhealed pain flaring up.
And until you see that pattern, you just keep reacting.
You keep giving your peace away to situations that don't actually warrant that level of emotional investment. Think about the waiter example.
The kind, respectful one dealing with the awful customer.
Yes. Customer shouting, totally out of line. Everyone expects the waiter to snap back or tremble.
But he doesn't.
He stays calm, looks the guy in the eye, smiles faintly, and says something like, "Sir, I'm doing my best. If that's not enough today, I understand, but I'll keep serving you with respect because that's who I am."
Wow. Turning it around like that.
Total power move. The customer looked foolish, the waiter looked strong, and guess what? The manager saw the whole thing, promoted him that night. Wisdom over instinct.
So how do we break that automatic reaction chain?
Awareness is the circuit breaker. Creating space. Even just one conscious breath can do it. Ask yourself that question again. Is this feeling about now, or is it something old?
Recognizing the trigger.
That's how you reclaim control. Is it the present situation, or is it a memory, a wound? Once you're aware, you can choose to respond with truth, with clarity, not just raw emotion. Truth is steady. Emotion can be volatile.
And practice this daily.
In everything. Getting cut off in traffic, dealing with minor frustrations, each one is a chance to reprogram your default setting from react to respond. Each breath is a chance to build that inner strength.
That's a real path to mastery. And leads us to the final lesson, which feels like the deepest one. If you want peace, you have to let go of ego.
The ego. This is where it gets really interesting, as the source puts it, because the moment you manage to drop the ego, you start to rise. Ego thrives on pain, but your deeper self, your soul, that lives in peace.
So ego is a major source of our suffering. That little voice inside.
That constant nagging voice demanding proof, demanding respect, demanding to be right. They should treat me better. I need to show them I was right. I deserve more acknowledgement.
And that's what makes us react. Fight. Explain constantly.
Often, yes. Not because it's truly necessary for the situation, but because our ego feels slighted, ignored, or challenged. It burns for attention, for validation.
But the source says ego isn't power. It's a prison.
It absolutely is. It keeps you trapped in anger, bitterness, resentment, always needing the outside world to confirm your worth. When the world doesn't deliver that validation, which it often won't, the ego panics.
And that's when we react, shouting because they can't talk to me like that, replying to trolls because they don't know who I am, arguing every point because the ego needs to win, needs to defend itself.
But true strength, true worth, doesn't need constant defense. It just is.
Yeah.
You don't need to shout about something that's already real.
So confronting the ego is maybe the biggest step here.
It's arguably the most crucial step towards emotional mastery. It's about learning to catch that demanding inner voice and ask, is this my true self, my soul speaking? Or is this just my ego screaming for attention?
Like the man in the story who got unfairly replaced at his company after years of loyalty.
Exactly. His initial reaction was pure rage. Ego screaming for revenge, wanting to tear them down.
But then he talked to his grandmother.
The one with the peaceful eyes despite hardship. And she gave him that incredible wisdom. You don't heal by proving others wrong. You heal by proving to yourself that their actions won't control your future.
That changed everything for him.
He let go of the fight, walked away silently with dignity, didn't waste energy on revenge. Instead, he quietly built his own success. Years later, he was far more successful than those who wronged him. He chose peace over ego.
Because ego wants revenge, but the soul wants freedom.
That's the core conflict. Ego is loud. It hates being disrespected, rejected, ignored. It explodes when challenged. If you keep feeding the ego, you'll keep reacting, keep fighting pointless battles, maybe even ruin relationships just to win some temporary argument.
And end up alone with your win, but no peace.
Exactly. So the solution offered is radical. Kill the ego. Choose peace. Every single time.
How do you actually do that in the moment when the ego flares up?
You have to practice catching it. That urge to prove, to fight, to explain yourself unnecessarily. Pause. Ask the question, soul or ego? Then consciously choose peace. Let people be wrong about you sometimes. Not everyone deserves your energy or your truth.
Stop fighting just to be right.
Ask yourself, what's truly more valuable right now, being right or being at peace? Often the answer is peace. Choose silence where the ego wants to scream. The next time you feel that fire rising, that urge to react defensively, just breathe. Maybe even smile internally and walk away.
Not out of weakness.
But because you're strong enough not to be ruled by something as fragile and demanding as ego. Your worth isn't up for debate. You don't need to react to prove it. You just live it. Calmly, clearly, quietly confident.
Wow. Okay, we have covered so much ground today. From understanding how reacting gives away our power,
to the heavy burden of regret that often follows those instant reactions.
we talked about the surprising strength found in silence and the vital importance of guarding our energy, treating it like gold.
And the discipline of cultivating calmness, knowing that the calm mind ultimately prevails.
Plus, seeing reaction as a habit, often rooted in old wounds, and response as conscious power.
And finally, tackling the biggest hurdle, perhaps the ego, and realizing that letting go of its demands is the ultimate key to unlocking real, lasting peace.
This understanding, if you really take it on board,
Yeah.
it feels like it could genuinely transform how you experience life, how you navigate challenges.
It really could. And maybe this raises a final question for you, the listener, to take away. In this world that's constantly yelling for your reaction, can you choose to let your silence be your strength?
Can your calmness become your confidence?
And what kind of deep, unshakable peace might you discover if you simply commit to that pause? To breathe, to check in, and to remember that quiet power that's already inside you. You're more than just your reactions.
You are more than the anger, more than the storms. You are the calm beneath it.
Deep.
We really hope this deep dive has given you a lot to think about, maybe some tools to feel more empowered and reflective in your own life. Until next time.
Stay strong, stay calm.
and stay free.